Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. As you're aware, I also do tutorials on the channel, and I focused a little while back on the basics of algorithm writing, and we also looked at the use of IPO charts, which of course classifies your input, processing, and output when you're problem solving. So this is another part of the problem solving series, but this time we're jumping specifically into, and you can tell it from the logo up top, into our Python tutorials. Now, the reason I chose Python to do as a tutorial or as a series of tutorial for kids to learn programming is because of the popularity of Python. Python is one of the most popular programming languages out there. And so a lot of people ask the question, so why do I want to learn programming? Now think about the power that coding gives you. You're able to build stuff, you're able to create stuff. I know sites, I think like Facebook and YouTube and Google, they all use Python programming for their creation. For me in particular, if you've been looking at a couple of the videos that I have back on my channel, I use Python programming a lot when I do Raspberry Pi project. Remember that the Raspberry Pi is a computer that you can control, and so having that knowledge of how to control the computer or how to tell that computer what to do is a key skill that is very essential. So think of programming your computer like this, that I'm able to now communicate with my computer directly and be able to manipulate it and tell it what I want it to do for me. So I'm able to place in a bunch of inputs, and I'm able to create some sort of output by me writing in codes, right? Sounds exciting? It is. You get to create, you get to write your own codes. If there's some complex problems that you want to solve, if there are simple problems that you want to solve, you can do that with Python programming. So for this first lesson, I just thought I'd get that out of the way, where basically explain to you what programming is. And programming is, of course, you're writing instructions that the computer can understand. So put a line under that, right? Programming, you're writing instructions for the computer to understand, and we want to do programming because we want to be able to create applications. So look back at the phones that you use, look back at the tablets that you use, look back at the laptop and desktop that you use. Somebody wrote up the code to create those applications, right? And this can be done in Python. So Python programming language is just one of many programming languages that allows you as the user or as the programmer to communicate with your computer device. So for today, what I want to do is to show you guys how to install a compiler that I use for Python programming, and that compiler is called, well, the entire suite of software that is available that contains Python, because you can go directly to Python's website and download Python 3.7. Just a little bit complicated. I saw this one the other day and I liked it because I thought that I could allow you to write code on one side of the screen and compile it, and it shows the output. So you're able to place your inputs in, and the computer processes what you're doing, and it shows you what your outputs will be. So let me show you on screen. We're going to download a software called Anaconda. So let me get the browser opened. We're looking for Anaconda programming software. Yep, this one. And it seems to be a package that contains a lot of different things, but the one we're looking for is the individual edition. So we're at the bottom, individual and download, right? Let me see if there's any particular one for Windows. That's it. So download. And then Windows 64-bit or 32-bit based on your computer's configuration. For my one, it's a 64-bit. I did the download already, just so you know, but I'll still go ahead and just push that so that you know that the process would have started, right? Alright, so after you have downloaded the file, it should show up as this file, so Anaconda 3. And I will go through and install it. Now I don't think I've installed it yet, so you guys also get to see that process of installation. So remember, what we're doing is that we're installing our platform that will allow us to write codes in Python and then have the computer process those codes and create an output for us, right? So meantime this is installing, let me talk to you about some of the projects I've done so far in Python, and this has to do with the Raspberry Pi. I've actually, if you're really good at the coding, you'll be able to program your computer to tell it to turn on your lights. You'll be able to program your computer to tell it to turn on the fan, turn on the water, right? You'll be able to program your computer to speak back to you. All of these things are possible with the learning of Python. Alright, so where are we? So it is Anaconda path environment variable. I don't think we have to do this yet. But if we need to, we'll change it where we can add it. Actually, let's do it. Let's add it to the variable path, and I'll leave registration like that. So again, the power of coding, the power of programming. You can create whatever you want, right? Just think about a problem that you want to solve, and you're able to create a program for it. And this is what apps and all the other programs that you use, these are what they do. And so if you're trying to play a song, for example, for us it's simple as just double clicking on the song and it gets executed. Somebody had to write up the code for that media player that you're using. Somebody had to write up the code for the social media site that you're using, right? And of course they do all of these using various programming languages. So we'll see this install, and then we'll get a chance to use Anaconda, or use the Python compiler, I should say, to write our first program in the next series, right? So let's see how this goes. And of course, remember that if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Hit that notification bell so you can see whenever I push out new videos. And this is just another part or another series of IT stuff that I would like for you guys to learn, or that I find very useful, and it is a way of teaching younger people or teaching kids how to start programming. So I'll try to make this as easy as possible in terms of my explanation. Remember that this is a beginners series, and this is a complete beginners series. I like to call it a kids series for Python, right? And so if your teacher asks you to that tells you that they want you to learn Python programming, I'm hoping that you'll make use of these series. If not, there's a lot of various tutorials online. I just feel like they go a little bit too in depth for the teaching a kid. So if there's something that needs clarification, don't hesitate to leave a comment below, and I'll try to answer it as best as possible. And also, if there's something that you might not have found clear and there's another way I can explain it, I will go ahead and create a new video for it, right? So we're just waiting for this to finish up. Anaconda. Now I'll tell you, this is my first time actually using this software package, right? So we're doing this together. I haven't used it yet. I've programmed in Python already, using the Python compiler that I got off the python.org site. But this will be my first time using this software package, so we'll be learning together, and hopefully I can explain it well enough to you. Alright, so it's taking a while. I'm going to pause this video and come back to you when the installation is finished. For Spider, and it's preparing everything. Hopefully all the environmental variables are set right, and we should be able to compile our Python codes and get those running right. And so we'll be using this program to essentially look at Python programming. Has a lot of other features that I know I'll probably make use of, right? Good. So that's our program. This is our editor. There's an update. I'll do the update later on, right? So we can download a new version if we have to. This is okay. I'll just dismiss these for right now, right? Yeah, so we should be able to write our code here, and some sort of compilation will happen whenever we run the file, and it will show our output over on this side, right? So let's try our first program. Let's say we wanted to tell the computer to print out a particular text, right? It means then that we can, and I'll just get rid of these because I don't think you really need these. It means then I can tell the computer to print, take off capital, print, open brackets, quotes, hello world. I am starting to program in Python, and that's a long sentence, but it's okay. You get the gist side. So print hello world, I'm starting to program in Python, right? And so that would definitely then be our options. I notice it's giving some syntax on how to do it. Don't worry about those. And so now you would click on run file. It will execute and run. And notice what happens. It runs the file and it shows the output. So this is my output. Hello world, I'm starting to program in Python, right? So that's essentially it. That's our first program. We're printing out something to the screen using Python, and as we advance with this, you guys will get to learn how to save files, how to run the files another way if you want to, if you're running a save file. But for right now, our focus is how do you type your code out in terms of syntax and where your output is produced, right? So that's where I'll end this first tutorial. And remember that this is your introduction to Python. First part 1. In the next part, we will talk about the other statements available, including variables, and how we could add in more print statements and commenting your program.